The Range Rover Sport is based on the same platform as the Range Rover, so it benefits from the bigger car's luxurious interior, class-leading off-road tech and impressive engine lineup. Engine options range from a fire-breathing 626 bhp petrol V8 to a couple of frugal plug-in hybrids, PHEVs, offering a massive electric range of more than 70 miles. And for the first time, Land Rover has put rear-wheel steering on the sports options list. The Range Rover Sport has all that in a package that's more compact, more nimble and arguably more usable than the longer, taller Range Rover. Speaking of rivals, while the Range Rover Sport is quite a bit cheaper than its larger stablemate, it's significantly more expensive than the entry-level versions of the Audi Q8, the BMW X5, the Lexus RX and the Cayenne. So should you buy one? Well, this review will take you through the pros and cons so you can decide for yourself. The Range Rover Sport is a fantastic SUV that goes big on luxury, comfort and off-roadability. Most engine options for the Range Rover Sport are 3.0-litre six-cylinder units, including the P400 petrol and the D300 and D350 diesels. The D300 produces 296 bhp and will cover 0 to 62 miles per hour in 6.6 seconds, so even though it's the slowest accelerating engine in the lineup, it feels strong enough to haul along this heavyweight luxury SUV at speed. The D350 diesel brings the 0 to 62 miles per hour sprint down to 5.9 seconds, but we're not convinced it's worth the extra outlay. The P400 is the entry-level petrol option, offering smooth and punchy acceleration. 0 to 62 miles per hour takes just 5.7 seconds, but if it's pace you're after, you'll be interested in the 4.4-litre V8 in the P635. This is fitted to the flagship performance-focused SV model, and can cover the same sprint in just 3.8 seconds, accompanied with a suitably raughty soundtrack. No matter which version you go for, the Sport impresses on the road. The air suspension is a little firmer than on the Range Rover, and you're a bit more aware of bumps in the road as they pass beneath you, but thanks to tighter control, those obstacles are dealt with quickly, with very little aftershock. There's less vertical body movement over undulating roads, too. Every Sport feels stable and relatively agile, but despite its name, we've stopped short of calling it athletic. The X5 and the Porsche Cayenne offer more grip and tighter body control, helping them to shrink around you when you start to pick up the pace, while the Sport always feels a little top-heavy. That said, as long as you're not going flat out, it's an easy car to drive along a twisty road, mostly thanks to the consistency of its controls. Rear-wheel steering, which is fitted as standard on the P635 and the P550e, helps make the car remarkably agile at low speeds by greatly reducing the turning circle. The Sport has all rivals beaten when it comes to venturing off the beaten track. All versions are all-wheel drive with a low-ratio gearbox, making it an incredibly capable off-roader. The Audi Q8's ride height tops out at 254 mm, but the Sport's body stands a lofty 281 mm off the ground in its highest setting. It has high approach and departure angles, so it doesn't get grounded on steep terrain, and can wade through water that's up to 900 mm deep. There's some wind noise on a motorway, but the disturbance is limited to a gentle flutter around the door mirrors and front pillars. There's also an active noise-cancelling feature that can be added as part of an upgraded sound system. With that fitted, microphones in the wheels monitor exterior noise and speakers in the headrests transmit a frequency that cancels it out. The D300 and D350 diesels are delightfully silken and quiet, remaining smooth even when pushed hard, but nothing in the range beats the PHEVs in electric mode for refinement. The 8-speed automatic gearbox is fine at low speeds, but if you want a quick burst of pace, it does feel rather sluggish, certainly when compared to the Cayenne's snappy auto box. We should also mention that the brake pedal in the PHEV is consistently weighted, making it easy to stop smoothly. Strength's punchy performance, smooth engines, cosseting ride comfort, hushed road manners. Weakness is not the most agile. Automatic gearbox could respond quicker. The Range Rover Sport offers a brilliant driving position. There's a logical relationship between the placement of the wheel and pedals, and a very wide range of adjustment for the steering wheel and the front seats, which can be heated, ventilated and massaging depending on the spec. The sitting position is said to be 20 mm lower than in the Range Rover in an attempt to offer a more sporty feel. To that end, the windscreen is more steeply raked, the center console is placed a little higher towards the driver and the steering wheel is slightly smaller. In reality you still feel as though you're at the helm of a very big, tall luxury SUV. In an attempt to tidy up the dashboard, you now adjust the temperature on the touchscreen, as you would in the BMW X5 and the Lexus RX. The Sport's high and commanding driving position is matched by terrific visibility. Even with the seat in its lowest setting, the driver has a crystal clear view all the way down to the nose of the car. The door mirrors are helpfully big, and a big rear windscreen gives you a great view out of the back. You get a 360-degree surround view camera as standard, along with all-round parking sensors. On autobiography trim and above, you get a rear view mirror that, at the flick of a switch, becomes a digital screen showing a view from the back of the car. It lets you see behind you even if the boot is loaded to the roof, and is available as an option lower down the range. Every Sport gets a 13.1 inches touchscreen infotainment system that responds swiftly to inputs. Its resolution is impressive, and there are not too many sub-menus to dig through to find a particular function. Amazon Alexa, and wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay come as standard so you can use your phone apps rather than the Land Rover system. Even so, it's a shame you don't get physical buttons or dials to help operate the touchscreen. The rotary dial controller in the X5 gives that car an advantage over touchscreen-only systems because it's much easier to use as you drive. In terms of quality, the Sport's interior really impresses. There's a sturdy, high-quality feel throughout to rival the X5, and most of the materials match the more expensive Range Rover, which is great given the jump in price between the two models. While the previous generation Sport was available with 7 seats, the latest model is a 5-seater only. If you need to fit in more passengers, the pricier Range Rover long wheelbase can accommodate. The back seats recline at the press of a switch to several set positions to help passengers get comfortable and reduce the effect of the lessened rear headroom. They also split and fold in a handy 40/20/40 configuration. Like the driver, the front passenger is treated to 20-way electric seat adjustment, 22-way on autobiography models, including height and lumbar controls. Heated front and rear seats are standard, and a cooling function is available if you pay extra. Handily, you can raise and lower the height of the car with the air suspension using 2 buttons in the wall of the boot, making it easier to load in heavy objects. A powered tailgate is standard, and you can flip up part of the boot floor to make a backrest, allowing you to sit comfortably in the boot with the tailgate open. At the lower end of the lineup, though, it does look quite compelling compared with the much more expensive Range Rover because it offers many of the same qualities for less money. Like all Land Rovers, it holds on to its value better than rivals, outperforming the Audi Q8, the BMW X5 and even the Porsche Cayenne. At the lower end of the lineup, though, it does look quite compelling compared with the much more expensive Range Rover because it offers many of the same qualities for less money. Like all Land Rovers, it holds on to its value better than rivals, outperforming the Audi Q8, the BMW X5 and even the Porsche Cayenne. Fuel economy in the diesels will average around low to mid 30 miles per gallon. The petrol P400 will hover around the mid-20s and the V8 P635 will be even less. With a depleted battery, the PHEVs will see fuel economy dip to the mid-20s. The PHEV Range Rover Sports have a maximum charging speed of 50 kilowatts, so they can go from 0 to 80% of charge in less than an hour if you can find a quick enough charger, or 0 to 100% in 5 hours from a 7 kW home charger. The FedEx 5 can charge at a much slower 7.4 kilowatts, and the Lexus RX 450 hours plus manages 6.6 kilowatts. They both require around 5 hours for a full charge.